Hello everyone. Yes, class 10 students. So how was the language paper today? I hope it was good. The paper was justified, neither too easy nor too difficult. So now you have your literature. And for literature, I told you that you must revise the whole Merchant of Venice today, and tomorrow focus on stories and poems so that you can do your paper well. Okay, so there are certain things which I want to discuss before. Yeah, let me. Okay, so in that short video which I posted today, I told you about some important chapters. So, see, children, let me tell you how we try to figure out which are the chapters or which are the topics that are important. See, council never repeats the previous years like last year's questions. Okay, last year's questions. So, last year, literature paper like English language or literature both, they were held in 2 semesters. First semester was only based on MCQ, and the second semester was second semester had reference to context, right? Now the stories and poems, in total 4 stories and poems were there, and in Act 3 was there for MCQs only in the first semester, and in second semester Act 4 and 5 were asked, right? So this time we can predict somehow there is a probability that Act 3, which was asked in MCQs last year, this year you must get at least one question on reference to context from Act 3. if we talk about the Merchant of Venice. Okay. Now, similarly, and then there are fourth and fifth act left. So, one question based on reference to context must be there either from fourth or from fifth. See, that way, I have already told you, and I am repeating that you need to be thorough with all acts of the Merchant of Venice, because this time you have MCQs. 16 marks are there for MCQs, children. You can't take them lightly. Okay, so you need to be thorough with all chapters. There are not so many, 5 stories and 5 poems only, and 3 acts of the Merchant of Venice. So by this time, I hope you people must have revised the Merchant of Venice. Uh, you can, of course, ask your queries, you can ask your doubts if you have any in the Merchant of Venice. Now, let's talk about stories and poems also. See, these stories and poems, last year, the poem which was there for MCQs was Daffodils. So, sorry, Daffodils was the poem which wasn't in the syllabus. Last year, you had 4 poems and 4 stories were there in the syllabus. So, Daffodils was not asked. Similarly, An Angel in Disguise was also not asked. So, that's why this year they should be there in the paper. Okay, Daffodils and Angel in Disguise, we can say that at least one question on reference to context you must get from both of these. After that, among the poems, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and The Patriot, these 2 poems were asked in MCQs in the first semester. So that is why these are important, because this time they can be asked for reference to context. Okay. Similarly, as far as stories are concerned, The Little Match Girl and The Blue Bead, these 2 were asked for MCQs last year. So this time they can be asked for reference to context. But yes, of course, as far as MCQs are concerned, each and everything is important and you need to focus. Let me tell you, I will post a video, or tomorrow I will again be live, in which I'll discuss the MCQs on stories and poems. Okay, so I'll discuss those questions, those MCQs. Now let's talk about the Merchant of Venice. All right, children, in the Merchant of Venice, Act 3 has 5 scenes. All right, Act 3 has 5 scenes, and in these 5 scenes, let me tell you all important speeches that you must be very thorough with. Okay, where you can, uh, these are the speeches from where you can ask many questions. So if we talk about Act 3 Scene 1, this scene is about the rumors of Antonio's shipwreck, and also the way Sherlock shows that he is being so revengeful. He wants to take his revenge on Antonio. So in this scene, the most important speeches, 2 speeches are important, and they both are from Sherlock. One is, There I Have Another Bad Match, a bankrupt and a prodigal. And the next one is, To bait fish withal. Okay, if it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. Please mark them. These 2 are important speeches. Yes, there is one more speech of Salarino just before that. There is more difference between thy flesh and hers. Hers here refers to Jessica, than between jet and ivory. So these 3 are very important speeches from Act 1. From Act 3, Scene 2, the first speech of Portia, I pray you tarry, pause a day or two. First of all, let me tell you, this whole scene is very much important. If we talk, in general, from Act 3, Scene 1 and Scene 2, they are the most important in a way. Okay, so Scene 2 is actually the scene where the casket story comes to its climax, right? So the first scene of Portia, then after that, there is another Portia's speech. Away then, I am locked in one of them. If you do love me, you will find me out. Nerissa and the rest stand all aloof, right? This is another important scene. Now, the speech in which Bassanio analyzes the caskets. Okay, so may the outward shows be least themselves. This is also an important speech for Bassanio. Then there is this analogy which he tries to give about the two contenders. He says that it is difficult for me to judge whether this applaud is for me or not. I come by no to give and to receive, like one of two contending in a prize, right? So that this speech is also very important. And after that, when these people, Salarino, Lorenzo, Jessica, they come, so Graciano says, I thank your lordship. No, no, just before that, when Graciano reveals that he also loves Nerissa and he wants to marry her. So I thank your lordship, you have got me one. My eyes, my lord, can look as swift as yours. This is another important speech. Then, when Bassanio is reading Antonio's letter, for that Portia says, there are some shrewd contents in yon same paper that steals the color from Bassanio's cheek. So, this way, the whole scene is important, but these are the speeches which you need to focus more upon. Salarios, not one, my lord. Besides, it should appear if he had the present money to discharge the Jew, he would not take it. This is Salario's speech. This is also important. It shows Shylock's intention. And then, uh, when Portia asked Bassanio to leave for Venice, the last one, what, no more? Pay him 6,000 and deface the bond, double 6,000 and then treble that, before a friend of this description shall lose a hair through Bassanio's fault. So these are all important speeches from Act 3, Scene 2. Now, Act 3, Scene 3 is about Act 3, Scene 3 is about that jailer scene, which is a short scene. It is not so important that way. Okay. And just wait. Yes. Vinayak is asking, please explain casket choosing scene. Vinayak, beta, I have already posted the videos. There is a playlist for the Merchant of Venice in which all scenes and all acts of Merchant of Venice has been explained. Okay, so there is this video for Act 3, Scene 2 also, and it is in two parts, part 1 and part 2. You can go through it, right? Watch that video, you will be able to understand. Because I have given line by line explanation in these videos. Yes, now in Act 3, Scene 3, which is again a very brief scene, there is this speech of Antonio where he shows his resignation to fate. He says the Duke cannot deny the course of law, for the commodity that strangers have with us in Venice, if it be denied, will much impeach the justice of the state. Okay, so this is also an important speech. It tells the reason why the Duke cannot help Antonio in this predicament. So then there is Act 3, Scene 4, and in Act 3, Scene 4, this long speech of Portia where she asked Lorenzo to take care of her household. I never did repent for doing good, nor shall not now, for in companions that do converse and waste the time together, whose souls do bear an equal yoke of love. So this speech is also important. Okay, please mark it. And Act 3, Scene 5, uh, it is it is a kind of humorous scene, you can say, where Lancelot and Jessica are arguing. So this is not so much this thing, but yes, Act 3 from examination point of view is important. You must go through it. Now, as far as Act 4 is concerned, of course, Act 4, Scene 1, very important trial scene, is very much important. So you can't omit anything, but yes, there is this mercy speech which is given by Portia. And then the way Shylock shows his grudge against Antonio, he says, I have possessed your grace for of what I purpose, and by our holy Sabbath have I sworn. There is this example which he gives about the slaves. Okay, so that should also be seen, that should be taken care of. Hmm. After that, Antonio's speech is there. I pray you, think you question with the Jew. You may as well go stand upon the beach and bid the main flood bait its usual height. So this is also important speech. Again, Shylock's speech is there. What judgment shall I dread, doing no wrong? You have among you many purchased slaves. This is what I was talking about. This is again an important speech. After that, Antonio, I am a tainted wether of the flock, meetest for death. The weakest kind of fruit drop drops easily to the ground. Okay. Then there is this another Gratiano's speech. Oh, be thou damned, inexecrable dog. So these are, of course, Portia's mercy speech. The quality of mercy is not strained. This has been asked, and it is an important speech. You must know it word by word. And this speech of Antonio, when he asked Bassanio, he says, "But little I am armed and well prepared. Give me your hand, Bassanio. Fare you well. Grieve not that I am fallen to this for you." This is again an important speech, another important speech. And when Portia announces that tarry a little, there is something else. This bond doth give thee here no jot of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. Okay. Again, there is tarry Jew, the law hath yet another hold on you. It is enacted in the laws of Venice. If it be proved against an alien that by direct or indirect attempts, right? So these are all important speeches. Act 4, scene 2 is a very short scene. So I don't think that you can get a question on reference to context from this. Now let's come to Act 5, Scene 1. This is the only scene uh, which this act has. And in this scene, the scene begins with a conversation of Lorenzo and Jessica, romantic conversation of Lorenzo and Jessica, where they present so many examples of true lovers, faithful lovers, right? So they talk about Troilus and Cressida. They also talk about Thisbe, Dido. So you must know the references in all the scenes, beta. Please go through the historical and classical references, whichever has been used. Otherwise, this argument of Bassanio and Portia, when Bassanio tries to convince her that he has not given the ring to any woman, that argument is also like, sweet Portia, if you did know to whom I gave the ring, if you did know for whom I gave. So, this ring episode is more important here in this scene. Okay, this ring episode is important. Please go through it. So this was about important speeches, children. Okay. Now, again, as far as the revision is concerned, how to revise, if I have to tell you, if you want me to tell you, you must go through the questions, previous year's papers questions also. But please understand that only Act 3, 4, and 5 are there in your syllabus. So the questions which are from previous scenes, you need not to bother about them. Okay. And you should also go through all questions of the workbook, and especially this workbook by Pamela Pinto and Xavier Pinto, Morning Star publication. This is the most common workbook which you people use, and this has all types of questions which can be asked. So, just to revise the variety of questions, it's better you must have done it in school also, but you please revise, answer them verbally also, you can do it. And just revise the questions, go through the questions, and if you have any difficulty anywhere, you can always ask, right? Is there anything that you want to ask? Please, you may put it here in the chat box. All right. So I have also posted a video where I have discussed MCQs from each and every scene and act of the play. Okay, please go through it also once. I think they'll be helpful to you, right? And revise. You have time. You should study today. Try to finish the Merchant of Venice, because this is somehow the difficult part. Ma'am, important things of blue bead. All right. See, if we talk about this story, the blue bead, basically there is one storyline. That storyline is uh, Sibya's encounter with that crocodile. Okay, how she killed that crocodile and saved Gujar woman's life. This is the plot of the story, main storyline. Okay, one, you should see this. After that, there are four descriptions. One is the description of crocodile, another is the description of bazaar, another is the description of Sibya and Gujar people, these nomads, Gujars. So, four descriptions, and Sibya's encounter with that crocodile is all you need to understand. Okay. Now, significance of the blue bead. Blue bead works as a reward for Sibya's adventure. Okay. So that way there is nothing so difficult. In Act 3, scene part 2 video has been twice instead of part 1. Vanshika, I posted it again. Yes, there was this mistake. I agree. But then I deleted that video and then I posted it again. I think this time it must be correct. This Now it is correct. Earlier it was so. Please check it. Now it is correct. Someone told me earlier, so I made the change. All right. Now, if there is any question that you come across, yes, please do it. Jonathan, how to describe the mother? You will never get a question on the description of mother, because there is no description that has been given. What we know about the mother from the story is that uh, she wasn't liked by anybody in her neighborhood, okay, because of her bad habits, right? And she was extremely poor. These two things only we know about the mother, nothing else. And you can never be asked a question to describe the mother in An Angel in Disguise. Okay. Next is Vinayak is saying expected story. But I have just told you. I began with this only. I have just told you the expected stories and poems. Out of five, three. See, that way all are expected, because in MCQs, you can be asked anything, right? But yes, I have told you from uh, the reference to context point of view, which are important. I have just told you that. Please tell the hallucination seen by the girl. Yes, of course, the first hallucination which the first vision which she had was of iron stove. Okay, iron stove, and she saw it in such a way that she even stretched her arms and feet to get warmth. So that hallucination tells us that she was in need of warmth, because she was feeling extremely cold, right? Second hallucination which she had was of a table covered with white cloth, and there was roasted goose with prunes and all. So it this hallucination tells us that she was in need of food. Okay, lack of food, it reflects that. Next, the third hallucination which she had was of a Christmas tree, beautiful Christmas tree, beautifully decorated. All right, and then later on she sees that suddenly, it goes towards the star, and then she had another. So third was about the Christmas tree, that decorated Christmas tree. So which is like she had the lack of joy and celebration in her life. Okay, need of joy and celebration. And then the next is the symbolism. I'm telling you the symbol of lack of food. Okay, it shows then I'm telling you simultaneously, I'm telling you both the things. And then when she sees her grandmother in the last vision, that symbolizes that she was in need of love. Okay, she had lack of love and care in her life, right, Vinaya? So an angel in disguise is the most important. At least one question you should get. This is what we believe in. See, we can only make predictions that way. It is out of the calculations I have told you. Otherwise, these are only five stories and five poems, not a big deal. Out of these two, daffodils and the blue bead, because children demanded that, so I have made videos on them also where I have explained the text. Okay, so please go through these videos, and if you want any other explanation or anything, tomorrow again I will hold a live session where we'll be doing the MCQs of stories and poems, and we will also be discussing important questions. All right. Anything else that you want to ask? Anything else? Ma'am, blue bead is very tough. Beta, it is not. It is actually not. I understand that there is somewhere you get the vocabulary. You must be feeling that the vocabulary is difficult, but it is not actually. Once you know the meanings of the words, it is not going to be difficult. Go through, just watch that video of mine where I have explained the whole text, एंड आई हैव यूज्ड हिंदी ऑल्सो, जहां मुझे लगा कि ये आप लोगों के लिए थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होगा उस सिचुएशन या सेंटेंस को समझना, तो वहां पर मैंने थोड़ा हिंदी का भी यूज किया है. आप उसको देख सकते हैं. कैन यू प्लीज सेंड एनी इंपॉर्टेंट पीडीएफ दैट यू हैव? PDF, of course, I can see for MCQs. I can send you if you want. I can send you for MCQs, not a problem, right? But how to send these PDFs? डिस्क्रिप्शन में डाल दूंगी मैं, ठीक है. आई कैन पुट देम ऑन डिस्क्रिप्शन. ओके, सो दैट्स ऑल. You please revise, and if you face any difficulty, you can always put it in comment box. I will definitely answer, right? All right, so that's all for today. Bye bye, all the best. Work hard, study hard. This is the time when you are going to uh, this is the time when you are going to get the results. So please work hard for these 2 days. Okay. Okay, beta. Bye bye.